Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Books and Banter. I'm Coral.
I'm Jamie.
And today we are talking about some upcoming historical fiction because we know y'all love historical fiction. And this all centers around female main characters, women. And this is for those American Girl book readers out there. This is for those Dear America girlies. I definitely was one as a child. I read those books so much. So here are some upcoming historical fiction books that are featuring women. So Jamie, what is on your TBR?
Okay, so the first one is The Lady's Road Guide to Utter Ruin by Alison Goodman. And this is a sequel to The Benevolent Society of Ill-Mannered Ladies, which I really like these titles. So that's kind of what first caught my eye. So this takes place in Regency, England, and the eccentric Colebrook sisters are amateur detectives who use their wits and invisibility as old maids to fight injustice. So to most of the high society, their 42-year-old Lady Augusta Colebrook, or Gus, as she's called, and her twin sister Julia, are just unmarried ladies of a certain age, but they are secretly protecting women and children ignored by society and the law. And so in this one, there's a guy named Lord Evan who is an escaped convict who has won Gus's heart. And so he needs to hide his sister Hester and from their vindictive brother. This plot sounds a little complicated, like who are all these characters, but we'll see how it goes. But Gus and Julia take Hester and her lover into their home. But yes, Lord Evan's complicated past kind of, puts them all in danger. So I guess he claims he's innocent of a crime, but it happened over 20 years ago. And there's a key witness, but now that is nowhere to be found. So trying to prove his innocence, trying to protect Hester from the brother that's after them, for her and her lover. It says it's a deadly cat and mouse game, so they must dodge their pursuers and try to clear Lord Evan's name. It says they will be thrust into the underworld of Georgian gentlemen's clubs, spies, and ruthless bounty hunters. So I think this just sounds fun. I think I'm planning to read the first one too. It just sounds like a lighthearted escape into Regency, England. The reviews are really good. The Washington Post says that Goodman skillfully blends mystery, adventure, and a dash of romance. And the Wall Street Journal says Miss Goodman's ill-mannered ladies are delightful company. So I just think this sounds really fun, and it is expected soon.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The one I'm going to talk about first is by Philippa Gregory. And if you don't know who Philippa Gregory is, she is an icon of historical fiction. Most notably, she wrote The Other Boleyn Sister, which has been made into a very popular film. But this one's called Boleyn Traitor. Ooh. So she's going back to the Tudor court during the time of Anne Boleyn. But this time, she is actually talking about Jane. And Jane is Anne Boleyn's sister-in-law. She's married to Anne Boleyn's brother, George. And this one is very interesting because there's a lot of speculation by historians about Jane Boleyn, and she's been kind of painted in a very interesting way because a lot of people believe that she actually testified against Anne Boleyn and George Boleyn, her own husbands, who were both, spoiler for something that happened hundreds of years ago, eventually executed for their crimes. Their crimes. So it talks about, this is a very set in the Tudor court where, secrets are currency and every choice you make, it's very dangerous depending on who hears you or who talks about you. And it's very interesting because, this is a real person that we only know a limited information about, but Philippa Gregory is going to weave the story, explore this character, give her a human side, and even though the story itself is, a fictitious retelling of it, you still get to learn a little bit, and she's known to put author notes in there and kind of mention what is known, what is not known. So I'm sure this one will fly off the shelves, but sounds really exciting if you are into this time period or just Philippa Gregory in general.
Yeah. Oh, when does it come out?
Oh, yes, it comes out in October, so it should be here very soon.
Nice. I was going to say, like you said, it is fictitious, but when I read stuff like that about real people or watch something, it makes me want to go and research about them and learn, more about them. So
yeah, and like when I read Social Graces for a video, go back and find it. It's been here soon. That's exactly how I felt. I had I was reading it, and then I had a tab on my phone open where it was actual information about that timeline. Was this a real person? Was this a real person?
Right.
So a lot of fun. A lot of fun those books are.
So, nice. Okay, so my next choice is The Wayfinder by Adam Johnson. And this is a historical epic about a girl from a remote Tongan island who becomes her people's queen. So the description for this book just sounded wild and extremely interesting. It starts off with talking corpses, poetic parrots, and a fan that wafts the breath of life. This is the world that young Correro finds herself thrust into when a mysterious visitor lands on her island. So her people are desperate. They're on the brink of starvation. And this wayward stranger offers them a choice. So they can remain in the only home they've ever known and await the uncertainty to come. Or Correro can join him and venture into unfamiliar waters, guided by only the night sky and his assurance of a bountiful future in the kingdom of Tonga. But what Correro and her people don't know is that this promised refuge is not a utopia. So instead, Tonga is an empire at war and on the verge of collapse. And this part really, I love the way that this description writes this. A place where brains are regularly liberated from skulls and souls get trapped in coconuts with some frequency. So,
wow.
Yeah, what the heck is going on? So, it also says the perils of Tonga are compounded by a royal feud. Loyalties are shifting, graves are being opened, and everyone lives in fear of a jellyfish tattoo. So I have to read this just to find out about this jellyfish tattoo. What is that about? So
maybe we should have put this in our coming soon scary reads video.
I mean, yeah, it sounds pretty. Yeah. So the reviews say though that this is, going to be fantastic. He's a Pulitzer Prize winning author. It says that he evokes the grandeur of Wolf Hall and the splendor of Shogun. And Johnson conjures oral history, restores the natural world, and locates what's best in humanity. So it sounds crazy. But so The Wayfinder is an instant, timeless classic. And Publishers Weekly gave it a starred review and says it's a majestic saga and remarkable. And Jennifer Egan, another the Pulitzer Prize winning author of A Visit from the Goon Squad and The Candy House, says how lucky we are that Adam Johnson has ignited for us this wild, epic, and utterly captivating skein of human history. So I'm really curious about this. There's a lot going on, but I do like that it has a woman heroine. So we'll see what happens. And this, I forgot to put down when it's expected.
It's coming out soon, people.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
So, similar to my last pick, this one that I picked also follows a real person from history and gives that fictionalized account. But I feel like we all might know this person. My next book is called I Am Cleopatra by Natasha Solomons.
Nice.
This is really interesting because obviously it follows Cleopatra, who we all have an idea of who Cleopatra is in our heads. But it kind of starts with after her father dies, it is determined that both Cleopatra and her brother are next in line for the throne, which of course puts Cleopatra in incredible danger. So during this time, she decides, when Caesar comes in and she's like, oh, maybe this is my path to securing my throne and protecting myself, using Julius Caesar as protection.
Yeah.
So she starts courting him and building this relation with him, but of course that is also dangerous for Cleopatra. So, but what this book is it really is giving her, you know, this like flesh and blood look at Cleopatra, because we all have ideas of her. We've seen her portrayed in movies and TV, or, you know, we've read snippets about her. We have this idea of who Cleopatra was, but this book really aims to humanize her and to kind of, you know, give life to someone that we see as such like a static figure in history. It actually does have a dual perspective. There is someone else who has a perspective in it, and it's Caesar's mistress, Servilia. So that's it's a very interesting character to also kind of play counter with Cleopatra, but I think that sounds really interesting just in general. Book list says the detailed descriptions bring the affection, tension, and intrigue of their stories to life. So I think this book will be kind of a crowd pleaser because it is gonna, you know, give some life to a character that, you know, a person, not even a character that we all have knowledge of. So this one is expected in October. Nice.
Okay, well, it sounds like we've got a lot of good historical fiction coming out soon. And as always, you know, be sure and check content warnings of any books that you're interested in. You know, these are stuff that we're interested in, but it may not be for you. It may have content that's not for you, such as, you know, brains being liberated from skulls. So, yeah. So, but if these are not for you, you know, be sure and you can check out some of our other videos. You can talk to your local librarian. They'd be happy to help you find something. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.